I'm Lieutenant Colonel Lee Mathews. I am the battalion commander for the 411th Civil Affairs Battalion, and I've served for 17 years in the Army National Guard and the Army Reserve. I really don't have one particular reason. I have always been fascinated by the military ever since I was a little boy. I think my parents knew it was going to happen. So there was one particular reason. I enjoy history. I enjoy the aspects of the Army. When I was a little kid, it's all about the tanks, the big guns, the helicopters, everything that you see that draws people into it. So by the time it came to make that decision when you're old enough, there wasn't really a tough decision. It was, I did LTC through college and then commissioned as an officer. So for the Army, it's getting selected and taking battalion command, because that's the highlight of an officer's career, and then just being in for, I'm coming up on 22 years in September. So just having at it that long, and being a company commander all the way up to battalion commander. So that's probably the highlight of my career is, getting selected for those board positions. So I'm the battalion commander, so I'm in charge of everything the battalion does or does not do. I have to meet the intent of my brigade commander and ensure my troops are trained and ready to go for any deployment, contingency operation, exercise, anything that the Army needs of them. As a civilian, on your civilian career, you may not manage any people when you first start out, but as a young Army officer, as a lieutenant, platoon leader, you've got 44 soldiers that you're in charge of. You have to ensure that they're manned, trained, and equipped and ultimately ready to go to war. Whereas on your civilian side, you may not manage people till you're 5 or 6 years into that position. I currently don't manage anyone in my civilian position. There's no one that works for me, but on the Army, I have 200 plus soldiers that I'm in charge of. I think if I had to manage a large amount of people in my civilian job and a large amount of people in the Army, it would not be enjoyable. But because in my civilian job, I manage construction projects, and in the Army, I'm managing and in charge and leading people, and it's a nice balance. If I had to do both all the time, you would just be worn out. You get to use different skill sets here, and this side I get to use other skill sets. It's almost right brain, left brain. You get to do both. My wife and my son, that comes to mind first and foremost right away. I'll be able to live without it, but there will become a day when I retire from the Army and I'll be not necessarily sad, but it'll be a moment that, hey, that's a large portion of your life that's now over, and I'll be able to live without it, but it's been such an integral part. And then probably the last one, really good slice of pizza. I love pizza. I don't have seasons because I'm from Florida. We have hot and wet, and that's all we have, almost year round. Maybe not wet in the winter, but that's all we have. But I do enjoy Christmas with my family because I enjoy setting up Christmas lights. It's not full-on Christmas vacation level Clark Griswold, but we set up lights and we set up lights with our neighbors, so it gives a nice feel, and I enjoy the music and the food you have around the Christmas season, so I enjoy that aspect.